So the advantages of self-service analytics in the cloud don't end with just higher user satisfaction. So we have data here showing how the cloud and self-service are supporting both an expanding and a more active user base. And these users are going to go beyond simple spreadsheet analysis because they have cloud access, because they have self-service capabilities. So organizations with cloud BI and high self-service are able to offer tool access to nearly 3/4 of employees who have demonstrated a need for BI tools. And wider access is going to mean that users in the line of business are engaging this robust analytical tool. They're not performing rudimentary spreadsheet analysis. They're not making errors that can go along with spreadsheet analysis. And unfortunately, users without access to BI tools are forced to deal with numerous spreadsheets. They end up conflicting over time, and there's a lot of tedious manual work and ultimately a lower quality of analysis. And not only that, they're going to engage with data less often. So we see users of cloud self-service tools are 86% more likely to engage BI tools on a weekly or more frequent basis. So the idea is when users can independently pull data down and go get data when they need it, they're going to go to the well more often. They're going to use the tool more often. And a self-service in the cloud encourages users to seek out new data and to find new lines of analytical questioning. And then finally here we see that in a cloud environment, collaborative efforts get supported. So everybody's working with the same data, and but at the same time they're maintaining a single version of the truth. So users who are collaborating on analytical work, they don't have to struggle comparing and corroborating different versions of spreadsheets or different versions of reports. Everything is updated. And users are also able to comment back and forth on the data, on the reports, on the analysis of others, and they eliminate the need for sending tons of messages and clogging inboxes and causing confusion. Here, we're looking at some of the leading capabilities for supporting self-service in a cloud environment. So automated reporting can save huge amounts of resources. As we know that IT-generated reports, especially custom reports and ad hoc reports, can get hugely expensive. So automated reporting gives IT and also users kind of a set-it-and-forget-it approach. And users don't want to wait on information, and it's very valuable for them to get information at a regular cadence. They know when it's coming, they know what is coming, and they can do all that without having to pester IT. Now, in an environment with a very high percentage of self-service users, governance and access control become very important. You want to be sure that users are not seeing data they shouldn't. And as more and more users become self-sufficient with analytics, this becomes more and more important. You need to prevent sensitive data from falling into the wrong hands. And perhaps most importantly, you need to ensure security and regulatory compliance with your data. Now, something like role-based access is going to greatly contribute to satisfaction with relevance. Marketers can go get marketing data, and maybe data in some other departments that's relevant to them. Finance people are focused on finance data. And what governance is doing is hushing out statistical noise, and it prevents data from becoming overwhelming and getting in the way of meaningful analysis. And on the IT side of things, IT gains visibility into who's viewing the data, who's making changes, and how it's moving through the organization. And that also creates an audit trail of analytical activity, which can be very useful for improving data operations and also solving any problems that may arise. Finally, self-service initiatives especially benefit from starting with the right ingredients. So you've got organizations who have high self-service are significantly more likely to have these employees with strong analytical knowledge who are working in non-technical roles. And self-service analytics, when you have these people, are going to have a greater impact when individuals have the know-how to really put tools to work, to use the full set of functionality and get the most out of data. So this is user education becomes an area where all organizations can improve to lift the analytical knowledge of their employees. And this is a great opportunity to implement training and also development programs and provide users with a skill set that's going to optimize their self-service data engagement. So a final question that we asked respondents is where is analytics most prevalent in your organization? Where is analytical activity strong or highly pervasive? And we see here where analytical cultures are taking hold and the impact that cloud and self-service has. So at the line of business level, when you have self-service users and they can access data in the cloud, data gets used more often, it becomes a part of the day-to-day operations. And you can see also the impact of breaking down data silos, helping them collaborate, getting data, and giving users the ability to go get the data that truly matters to them and being able to do it in a timely fashion. Now, obviously, still a ways to go, especially you look at sales and marketing here, but we know from the pressures that organizations really want to become more data-driven. They recognize that it's a hugely important part of remaining competitive. And here we see the impact that cloud and self-service are having in that effort to become more data-driven. So quickly to review before some recommendations, what have we looked at today? We saw the pressures that are driving analytical investment that need to become more data-driven. We saw that a lot of users, especially outside of the best-in-class, are dissatisfied with access and ease of use and relevance. And we saw that the best-in-class are more likely to adopt the cloud and also more likely to have a high percentage of self-service users. We isolated those organizations that have a cloud BI deployment and have a high level of self-service users, and we saw the impact of being able to help users just interact with data, how that impacts their user satisfaction, gets those analytical cultures in place in the line of business, and ultimately empowers these agile users that don't have to interact with infrastructure, don't have to rely on IT, and are able to get timely insight. So based on these findings, I just want to leave you with a few recommendations. The first one being embrace a cloud data hub. We saw the best-in-class significantly more likely to deploy BI in the cloud, a centralized place for storing data and accessing data and delivering data. We saw the impact that that has on a greater user satisfaction with data access. It's a very valuable tool for breaking down data silos, which is the top goal, and it gives agile users that single version of the truth when they're out looking for timely insight. Next recommendation is to really remember that the best-in-class help users obtain information within the decision window. Turnaround time is what can kill analytics in the line of business. So a good BI tool should really serve as a bridge between IT and the line of business, helping IT understand who needs what data, and that giving the line of business the ability to communicate what data they need quickly and empowering them to go out and get it. And so you should recognize that your users are working against the clock and help them get their data in time. Next is to eliminate the need for interaction with infrastructure. So there's a lot of non-technical users in the line of business. They don't want to code. They don't want to have to do complex modeling. They don't want to have to interact with programs and infrastructure. They just want to interact with data. Remember the high levels of dissatisfaction with ease of use. So things like self-service and automated reporting are going to eliminate that need and provide a better experience for non-technical users. And then finally, all of your BI investments should be to propel your users beyond spreadsheets. We saw spreadsheets are error-prone. You end up with conflicting versions. They create a lot of extra work for users as they need to compare and corroborate. So the cloud and self-service, they give access to a BI tool to more users. When users have a robust tool, they engage data more often. And you want to make sure that users don't go back to the way they used to do things. You want to instead empower users who are going to generate insight and generate it when it matters. So thank you for listening to me. If you have any questions, I'm going to be on until the end. And at this point, I will hand it off to Kathleen.
Thank you, Peter. This is Kathleen Douglas with DrivenBI. Peter, you've just provided some compelling research and findings around finding a better way to improve not just the technology that the organization uses for BI analytics, but also the benefits to the bottom line by creating the visibility within the operations that you really need to improve performance. So very, very exciting. In the next 15, 20 minutes, what I would like to do is share with you a little bit about technology which offers what we consider a unique approach and proven results with our users. So before I do that, I'd like to just take a moment and introduce our company, DrivenBI. We have for about a decade been empowering data analysis, but also empowering business users to achieve the insights and visibility they need in order to improve their processes and their operations. SRK is a self-service, cloud-based data analysis platform. We combined training, consulting, product maintenance, and support to really offer the right combination of what we consider ease of use, robust capabilities, and the ability to grow its use and value organically within your organization, and to significantly reduce your dependency on IT. We offer SRK as both a subscription in the public cloud hosted by Microsoft and private cloud on-premise for those who have not or cannot move to the cloud at this time. We have many partners, including Salesforce, which we provide their customers with the ability to incorporate other sources of data, such as actuals from finance, competitive analysis from marketing, inventory data from manufacturing, all of these to create a richer, more relevant analysis where their sales data is combined with that information, and there's no need to leave their Salesforce environment. In summary, DrivenBI is a Southern California company. We're about a $30 million valued private company with over 300 customers worldwide. And most importantly, we welcome the opportunity to talk with your organization as to how we can make you a customer too. While I was listening to Peter's talk, a number of questions came to mind that you might have also been asking yourself too. Hearing all the research and more importantly the findings, I would ask, how do I get there to really take advantage of all of the benefits of self-service? Where do I start? Peter, I had to use a quote from Aberdeen on this slide because I really felt that it got directly to the point, and that was developing a self-sufficient BI user base is easier when you start with the right ingredients. And so what I'd like to talk about first is, what are these ingredients, and more importantly, why are these capabilities so important? Well, I think a simple answer to that is that they help to empower the line of business user by supporting the flexibility and control that business users want and need to do their jobs. So self-service, why is self-service important? The best example of this would be to say that in our personal lives we use mobile devices anywhere we want. We are in control of the data we want. Need info? Google. Search websites. Download an app. Do online banking, online bill paying. We have a great deal of flexibility and creativity in that process in our personal lives. So in our professional lives, in the corporations that we work in, we expect the same empowerment. So what we're really looking for is, as a business user, something that's more business user oriented. And self-service allows that to be available to us. What about cloud-based? Cloud-based, interestingly enough, what you're really looking at here is the ability to manage the cost and effort involved in doing that analysis. So here I call it, controllable total cost of ownership. What I'm saying is there's no additional capital investment, and I'm using it as I need it. This is a really important aspect of how to manage and control those costs, as well as to be able to grow something within an organization in terms of its usage. And a final ingredient is a just-in-time analysis and insight. Most business decisions are made in the moment with the data available. You need to be sure that you have the most current and most accurate data and analysis to support your actions. So accuracy and flexibility to support the single version of a truth and actionable sharing is very critical.